Well, howdy people, how are ya? Now, I've had this JJRCX12 drone for over a year now, and I thought I'd let you know how it worked out for me. And this will be a completely unbiased review. In other words, I'll just tell you the way it is. First of all, this JJRCX12 is exactly the same as the E-Machine's EX4, I believe. Why they changed the name or something? Dunno. But I sure can guess why, can't you? But the reason I bought this drone at the time was because it was about half the price, or quite a lot cheaper than the DJI one. And from the footage I saw online, it was pretty good pictures. But they do advertise it everywhere as a 4K, and it's not 4K at all. It's 1080p, and it only does stills at 4K. But a lot of people got fooled by that one. But not me, I knew it was 1080p. But if anybody's thinking of a drone and getting one, I would suggest don't buy this one or the E4. Save your money up and get yourself a DJI one. And I'll tell you why. Right from the get-go, I had trouble with this drone locking onto satellites, or saying it was locked onto satellites. And then when I took off, it would do this completely circle around me and then just get wider and wider until I had to go find it. So what I had to do was kind of start it up and take it up to, say, height level and see if it was going to bugger off. And if it's fairly stable, then I could start using it. And sometimes it wasn't, so I had to land it quickly and recalibrate again. And when you're flying a drone that costs even this much, you really want to be reliable, don't you, that it's going to come back. But I never had any confidence that this drone was going to come back. But I got quite a few successful flights out of it. I put the flights on YouTube, and along with the other ones where I had to go and search for it all the time. And it was nothing I was doing wrong or in the wrong area or whatever. It was because it's the drone, I'm afraid. It just doesn't have the electronics like the DJIs do. So I had quite a few flights with it that were successful, and a lot of them weren't, but I stopped using it for a while because I just didn't feel confident really with it. And I'm in a fairly crowded area, so you have to be careful. But I thought I'd give it to a younger member of the family and see how they get on with it and have a bit of fun with it maybe. But I found that the front right motor wasn't turning anymore. And I looked online and some guy said a wire come off inside his, so he had to resolder it back on. So I took a look inside and the wires were okay, but the soldering was disgusting. In fact, the electronic board inside didn't look very good at all. Pretty cheap. And let's be honest, that is the drone really. No problem with the mic quality on the outside, but pretty ropey inside. So I looked for the motor for that type of drone, and the only people that actually sold it were in China. And one site only wanted £13 for the whole arm and the motor, so I ordered it. But it was going to take 3 weeks or more to arrive, and probably is going to come by pony, I suspect. And for the price I paid, that was delivery as well, so could it actually be the real motor or not? So I went onto Amazon and ordered another one, which of course was double the price. But at least it would probably be the right motor. And once again, it was going to be about 3 weeks or more to be delivered, because it was coming from China too. And anyway, time passes, and both the motors arrived eventually, at the same time, the same day. And they both looked like the right one for the model, but one of them had a light on the arm and the other one didn't. And of course the cheaper one is the one that didn't. So I went about replacing the arm and motor on the JJRCX12, and it's a fiddly job. Getting the arm out is the hardest part. But anyway, I finished it, I thought, and I took it out for a test. And lo and behold, all 4 propellers started up. Mind you, it's not flying as smooth as it was, but it is flying. And I see that you can get these drone and the EX4 for a reasonable price now. And my suggestion to you is don't bother, because I was very lucky when it took off that I actually found it in the forest, in the trees somewhere, or in the back garden of somebody's place. I had to knock on about 40 doors to try and find it. It just isn't worth the time. And I didn't fly it all that much, and one of the motors shouldn't have gone already. They are the brushless ones, supposed to be very strong. Apparently, they're not. But the main thing, they just don't have the real good connection with the satellites, and that is the problem. So my suggestion to you is to stay away from these two drones if you want to do some good droning. But of course, if you want to get a lot of exercise and harassment or whatever, then buy it, of course. The footage seems to be okay when you actually do get some footage. But even then, some of the footage on the SD card was corrupt and I had to use a program to fix it. So all in all, they just haven't got the electronics at all. Anyway, thank you for listening to me, and that is a completely honest opinion of mine. I have just given it to the younger person in the family, and I wonder what fun he'll have with that. But I did tell him, I said if it flies off, forget it, don't worry about it. So at the moment, unless you pay really mega bucks, I think the DJIs are the best. I think you can get one for $4.5, which really still isn't that cheap. And of course the JJRCX12 wasn't that expensive, I guess, in comparison, but if you take off and it takes away, that's it, gone. Maybe it flies home to China. They got a big pile of them probably somewhere. And just keep reselling them. Had a different name, of course. At the moment, my droning days are over. And also, they've tightened up the laws in the UK as well. Was trying to take the whole fun out of it completely. You see, we're not really grown-ups here. Anyway, have a nice day, whatever you're going to do today. And if you got any stories about your drone, let me know, or a drone. Yeah, you keep your stick on the ice now. Take it easy.